This is Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion who won it back-to-back in 2005 and 2006. But he's had many other opportunities to win the championship but have fallen short on all of those occasions. Ever since his return, it hasn't really been smooth sailing for him in trying to win the championship, and many have written him off. However, 2026 will most likely be his final year in F1. Can he win his third? That is where I come in for this, to try and win Fernando Alonso his third ever F1 championship. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we are going to try and win Fernando Alonso's third ever F1 Drivers' Championship. It would be 20 years since his last one, so it's going to be quite hard. Unfortunately, I do not have mods because I'm using this on PlayStation. So, what I did to make sure that it was, like, there would not be any sort of changes to the grid or many changes, because usually in simulations in career modes, usually after the first season, Hamilton retires, and then you get like a random retiree like Alex Albon. So we're trying to make it realistic. We also do not have Cadillac on the grid. If you want me to try this again when F1 26 basically comes out, yeah, just get this video up to 50 likes and yeah, comment down below. These are the rules that I had set out for this challenge, which is very different from the Ricciardo one because I didn't set out any rules other than the fact that I had to win it with Ricciardo in the second Red Bull team. So you can read all the rules up. I'm not going to really talk about it, but the one that I did find a little bit challenging was number 4, because if I had accidentally changed, say, the Spain race weekend to short or very short, then I could not do it. I only had one more chance to change it to short or very short for one of the weekends remaining, and if I had actually done it again before the last 2 race weekends, then I was screwed, because there is a genuine chance that the season could be defined in the last 2 weeks. Now, to make this somewhat realistic, I did have to simulate one season to get to 2026, and even though we didn't have Cadillac in, I tried to make it more realistic. However, if you look here for the sim, Fernando almost won it. He came second in that sim for the first season, and I almost lost it, because if he'd managed to win it in that second season, I would have been very upset and the video would have had to be redone. I'd have to do it on a different save. Managed to get him 60% sort of favoritism, I guess. So we can use, we lost a few upgrades, which was what Lance Stroll had put on the car. So yeah, we are trying to win Fernando Alonso his third F1 championship. So yeah, let's get straight into it. What I also sort of found challenging when we did Daniel Ricciardo is that I skipped through all the practice sessions, so I missed pretty much the entire I pretty much missed a bunch of resource points, which sort of made it hard to sort of develop the car. So in this one, it's going to take a little bit more, but I'm going to do quick practices, so I'm not really driving the car. And the season start in Australia sort of is a little bit weird, because I cannot do quick practice sessions for all 3 practices. So it forced me to do practice 1 in the car, which I obviously retired from the session. But for the other practice sessions for this weekend, I did do quick practice, and again, to focus on getting more resource points, I mainly tried to do all the resource points sort of objectives first. then I would do the other objectives as well, because I did find it out to help sort of with race strategy and to help out the simulation as much as I can without controlling it. I felt that if I did this, it would help out massively with the car's performance. And in just the first race weekend, this happened. Start to the seat. I think you're seeing that right. I like how when we did Daniel Ricciardo, it took us 20 races. Fernando has just finished qualified P19 and has finished 6th. What am I looking at? Albeit we're 43 seconds off. But what is that? That is called getting points, you dumb idiot. With the resource points that I had originally from the last season in the sim and from the practice sessions that I had in Australia, I used that to get 2 upgrades on the car, or try to get 2 upgrades on the car, one in chassis with hydraulics and the other one in powertrain with rotor speed. One main issue with doing the quick practice and trying to get all the resource points is sprint weekends, where there's only one practice session and then the other 4 sessions are either qualifying or sprint sessions. So what I mainly did was try and get the most resource points that I could possibly get, which unfortunately did not help with any race strategy or anything, but it did sort of help out with everything else. In the sprint, we managed to get more points. However, once again, we did it in the same way that we did in Australia, by qualifying in P20. What is this simulation? I don't think Alonso's actually qualifying 20th. That can't be happening. Also, what's with Piastri? Piastri, mate. Yuki Tsunoda's just DNF. Same with Liam Lawson. Wow, they must have crashed into each other in the main race, and we saw a comprehensive result as we finished P3 in the race to get us 20 points from the race weekend. However, we qualified again in P20. I think Alonso's just trying his best, Sergio Perez, in 2020. We move on now to Suzuka, and this is pretty much the process that I did for many of the races, going through all practice sessions, so I will not be including as much of this, or if any of this, for the rest of the video, but I did find this interesting, that it did help out with getting resource points and also getting a good race result. And for some weird reason, we still can't qualify in the top 5 at least, but we are finishing in the top 5. You can have my actual response here. It says 20th on the grid. Pierre Gasly qualified P3 as well in an Alpine. I think on the standings, yeah, Verstappen second. Technically Hadjar's third. I just love it when I get things wrong. It took me 3 hours to go through all this. Oh, not really 3 hours. It was like 2 hours and 20 minutes. So this is probably what it's going to be like again. We move on to Bahrain, and once again we've qualified P20, and if you can't realise, it's because the pace has gone down by 250. And we have Stroll has gotten points as well. We're not really fussed on that. But Verstappen, he's gone ahead in the championship. Ferrari's giving Leclerc a mare. For us to have any real chance of winning this title with Fernando, we need our upgrades to go through, and hopefully the DRS won't go through. Hopefully everything... This is like the Daniel Ricciardo video all over again. We need a good result in Saudi Arabia once again if we have any chance of winning the title, and we get it here. He got second. He did outscore Verstappen, but he got outscored by Leclerc. He finished first. He qualified P1. Stroll got a point, which is always good. So, really a three-way battle. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, and Alonso. Now, imagine this as a championship battle, and then just pretend Norris is Piastri, Alonso, plus it's just Alonso racing, or just Alonso Martin. Yeah, that might work. Alonso Martin. Realistically, that's what Aston Martin should change their name to. Now we move on to the second sprint weekend in Miami, and we need a very good result here. It's going to be very hard if we can't get any decent points, and sprint weekends are always good to get just a little bit extra edge over your opponents. Unfortunately, we finished 7th and only got 2 points behind Verstappen, who got 8, and Leclerc, who got 7, meaning that we are slowly falling away from the top spot, and it's between Verstappen and Leclerc. And Stroll is not really helping the team out, but we did finish 20th on the grid once again. We really need a win in Miami, and sprint was decently okay considering that I don't know what's happening with the sim. Where I don't know if Alonso is just playing with us, but we really do need a win in Miami. And hopefully we do get it. You never know, we could manage to get it if it loads. It's probably simulating for Alonso qualifying 20th. And then somehow going through, there's going to be a bunch of DNFs. Hopefully Verstappen, hopefully Leclerc. Actually, probably not Leclerc. He's dealt with enough. Alonso has won. Okay. That is good. That is what we needed. It is really what we needed. Okay. 15 seconds. So, if he qualifies decently, Verstappen DNF'd. The win in Miami was obviously needed. We needed that. However, it's going to be very hard to get above Leclerc and Verstappen if they do not DNF or lose points. And luckily, in Imola, things started to turn as we managed to get a podium, once again finishing pretty much last on the grid, but McLaren got the 1-2. And Leclerc and Verstappen finished 4th and 6th respectively, meaning that we jumped Verstappen in the standings, and we are 15 points behind Leclerc for the championship lead. Also, Stroll is not really helping out because he keeps finishing pretty low. Now we're on to the track where the most important thing to do is to qualify high up, because there's really not many overtakes, and we really need some changes to the car because the engine is sort of worn out. As you can see what I'm doing right now. Unfortunately, as you can probably tell, and by the sheer amount of times it's actually happened in this career mode, we probably would have started in P20. Luckily, we would have luck on our side as we managed to get the podium in between both Williams cars. Yeah, the Williams GIF is really needed with Leclerc and Verstappen finishing below them. We are really on a roll here. We are getting points away from them. We are so on a... And Stroll's development failed. Lovely. Now we move on to Spain in Barcelona, where this is Fernando Alonso's home race. And as you can see right now, I'm currently changing the engine a little bit more so that there's not much wear on it. And in this weekend, we are only 9 points below Leclerc, which means we could theoretically go above him if we can have a good race. I guess that is one way of winning your home race, qualifying very low, and then winning it with Leclerc finishing 4th and Verstappen finishing 10th. We are first in the championship. Oh my god. Leclerc would get back at us though, as he would win in Canada, although we did manage to get second in the race, so we didn't fall behind much on Leclerc. And lovely, just lovely. Another development fail. We have to put this failure in the back of our mind as we move on to Austria, trying to get ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen. And we managed to get all 3 World Drivers' Championship winners on the podium. Hamilton has just won in a Ferrari. Oh, what is this sim? He's definitely not qualifying 20th. Leclerc DNFing means that we go ahead of him by 15 points in the championship. And going into Great Britain, if we can get a decent result and keep on par with Leclerc, we will be in a very good place to win the championship. However, it's only halfway through the season and we still need to keep results up. Separate team. Alonso has finished below Leclerc, but I don't think that matters. We finished above Verstappen, who I'm more so worried about because he does have good second halves of the season. Stroll getting another point, you love to see it. After a small break, we go into the Belgian Grand Prix, where it's another sprint weekend, and we do manage to get P3. However, Leclerc does beat us out. But in the race, we manage to get second place. Norris does the sprint race and the race double. However, we do get 2 points ahead of Leclerc, meaning that we extend our margin over him in the Drivers' Championship. And Lance Stroll finishing P5 is always needed, which is pretty good. However, in this sim, Ferrari's first. I don't think this sim is realistic. Now, in Hungary, I decided to do probably the worst thing for this challenge. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to do any practice sessions straight in. I want to see if that changes anything. Luckily for me, it sort of paid off. However, we did finish below Leclerc, but above Verstappen, who is rapidly falling away from this title fight, and it's just between me and Leclerc. Yeah, I don't know why I keep finishing 18th. We're now past the mid-season break, and we are only 7 points out of Leclerc. However, we do have Zandvoort next, and hopefully we can get a very decent result over Leclerc. As you can see, I'm doing more of the quick practice stuff, but it did manage to help us as we managed to get first place, again qualifying P20 on the grid. What the fuck? We move on to Imola, and this is where I started to not do the 3 practices. Obviously, I did earlier, and I think it had a little bit of a consequence as we did finish P2 behind Leclerc. However, it was 2 seconds off him, and it was in a wet race, meaning we are 17 points ahead of him at this stage. Verstappen really falling off. And in the next race, in Azerbaijan, we managed to finish second once again. However, it was behind Leclerc once again, meaning that Leclerc is slowly hacking at our lead. He can realistically go first in the next race weekend, even if we finish on the podium, because if he finishes first and we finish third, he'll go on top because of the amount of race wins he's won. And I do feel bad for these 3 drivers. Actually, 4 drivers. I feel bad for Behrman. And in Singapore, yeah, we lost our championship lead, and Leclerc is now technically tying with us, but also technically ahead in the standings because he's won too many races, more races than we have had, and he's had more second places as well. So to combat this, we really needed some upgrades to come through. They would only come by the Brazilian Grand Prix, so we wouldn't have them for Texas or Mexico or even Las Vegas. And in the sprint, we managed to get first, with Leclerc finishing third, meaning that we had 2 points over him in the standings. However, in the race, Leclerc won, we finished third, which means he now goes ahead in the standings by 8 points. We are going to need a miracle. I really love how I'm very optimistic in this. And my hope of completing this challenge further goes down as Leclerc finishes first and we finish 5th, meaning we lose 15 points to him, and we are now 23 points behind Leclerc with 4 races to go. As you can probably tell, I'm not really liking it. Luckily, in the Sao Paulo sprint, we managed to win the race in the sprint, getting 2 points ahead of Leclerc, and we need to keep this up. So in the race, we managed to finish first, getting 12 points over Leclerc, dropping down the points needed to catch up to Leclerc, down to only 11, and we needed to keep this up. We needed to keep this form up. However, this video will take another twist as I do something very stupid for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I want to say, yeah, we're just going to do short for Abu Dhabi if it gets to that stage. Oh shit. I made it medium. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm actually stupid. I think I made it medium. It's very short. Okay, well, that's on me. I have to skip to the end. Oh, that is actually bad. I had it on full and I think I pressed X one more time. This now means that I cannot race one of the last 2 race weekends, and if I don't race in Qatar, there is a very good chance that Leclerc will beat us in that race, meaning that we cannot win the title. So I had to do something that I didn't want to do, which is do the race in Qatar. I did sit out of the sprint weekend, sprint quali and the sprint race, because I wanted to do it mainly on just the race, which luckily did not really affect me as much, as we did manage to get 8 points and Leclerc only got 2, which means that I did drop the lead down to 29 points. However, I did help out in the main qualifying session. As you can see right here, I am currently locked in. There is not many clips of this, unfortunately. However, we did manage to get pole position, luckily. So you'll now see the race highlights of me racing. Mediums. Leclerc, 6th. Get the power down. This was pretty much the racing for the Qatar Grand Prix, and it was pretty peaceful. However, there were a few moments which did cause me to have a little bit of stress. Leclerc could potentially be in 7th. Hold up, I can see this. Hold up. Is this Leclerc? It is Leclerc, okay. With Leclerc not in the top 5, I really need to keep at least P1 or P2 at the minimum and hope that Leclerc does not finish in the top 5. Norris is going on the inside. Can he make the move stick? He can't.
I think you have to leave a space. All the time you have to leave a space.
Thankfully, Aston Martin pit crew, we need you to lock in. Oh my god. Our pit crew might have just ruined our race. We need full points here. Going down the inside, and I've made it work. Thank you so much, Albon. We've got no power.
9.0 seconds.
Oh, just give Albon a love tap. Yeah, just accidentally barging me out of the way. How am I still first after all that? Over a second.
Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
Now if I make a slight mistake, I should be okay. Albon might hold on for a podium here. Albon looks like he's holding on for a podium. And it looks like George Russell. Final corner. Norris will finish second. Alonso has finished first.
Absolutely
Come on.
awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
Driver of the day, Norris. Yeah, that makes sense. Because of me deciding to race with Alonso, we have brought down the gap to Leclerc to 12 points. However, it is very unlikely that we will win this, obviously, as Leclerc is in the hot seat, and he just needs to finish on the podium to win the Drivers' Championship, while we need to finish first, and for him to finish fourth or lower. This is going to be very hard, but at least I get to do another qualifying session, so I can help out Alonso very much. And now we are on to the final race weekend. The one race weekend that can determine the fate of this challenge, whether I have completed it or whether I failed another challenge of trying to win a championship with a driver. Luckily, I can do the qualifying, but not the race. We get pole. Verstappen. We do. Okay. Okay, where's Leclerc finished? Leclerc has finished 9th. He's qualified 9th. Worst result he's gotten, other than the DNF, is 6th in both the Netherlands, Bahrain, and Qatar. They are really ruining him. Our worst finish was 6th. Actually, no, 10th. This is it. We need Leclerc to finish 4th or lower, and a race win for Fernando Alonso. Alonso, unfortunately, in this situation, has not prevailed, and unfortunately, neither has Leclerc. But we need one of them will win the championship, and we want it to be one man and one man only, Alonso. However, he's faced many setbacks.
Cars going round in 15 and 16. Rosberg, P4, Kubica P5, Du bist Weltmeister!
Thank you, boy. Unbelievable. Thank you, I love you. Thank you, my friend.
Sebastian Vettel, you are the world champion! The world champion, well done, enjoy it!
If you put yourself in his shoes, I think that he knows, and he knew at that stage, that he would have deserved the championship.
We proved that with a car that is a little bit slower than the others, we can win the championship. With a car that is same as the others, probably we win the championship few races before the end. And with a car that is a lot slower than the others, we fight until the last race.
I think we have probably seen the best of Fernando Alonso. That's his strongest ever season in Formula One. He didn't win the championship, he's won it a couple of times before with Renault, but he was the most complete driver. The way he motivated the team, the way he raced, he took some big risks. The only 2 non-finishes came because other people ran into him.
Sebastian Vettel, he is the 3rd driver in history to have taken 3 titles.
We need a miracle. And it came. Oh my god! Oh my god, Ferrari's bottled it! Fernando Alonso has just won his 3rd championship and Ferrari have bottled. Oh my god. I can't believe it. Oh my god. I actually can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. We've actually done it. I did have to intervene a little bit, so maybe in another sim I will try not to intervene as much, but we managed to get it. And I don't know what to do for another video on F1 because I want to do one more before another sort of like sport video comes out, which it will by the end of the week when this has been uploaded. And I do apologize for how long this has taken to upload. It's taken me 5 days to edit and go through all the clips to see if I should use it or not, and then do the voiceovers for it. So yeah, maybe I could do a Monaco challenge with Charles Leclerc, and then I'll take a little bit of a break from F1 videos, go into other sporting sort of videos that is sort of relevant in Australia where I'm from. So if you want to see that, then sure, stick around. If you want to see other F1 videos, comment down below. But yeah, I'm actually so glad, and you're now going to go back to the recording where I did finish the video. I will see you guys all in my next video. I'm so glad that I did it. If I'll just replay what I would have done if it wasn't 1 in the morning. But yeah, I will see you guys all in my next video. Okay.